What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of No More Bets, the latest Chinese blockbuster film to get a small release here in the United States. Of course, No More Bets is a crime thriller film from Shen O, and this film kind of came out of nowhere to gross over $500 million almost exclusively in China about a month ago in early August. And I was quite invested and interested in this and happy to see it get a quick release here in the States. I've reviewed a handful of blockbusters, honestly, most of the significant blockbusters of the year from China, Full River Red and Wandering River 2, Born to Fly, Hidden Blade, Lost in the Stars, and now No More Bets. And it's been interesting and fun to kind of analyze and see what the most popular movies are out of the now biggest movie market in the world. And it's definitely been interesting, and I generally I liked No More Bets. I thought this was quite fun. It's a crime thriller film. I think the thriller aspects of No More Bets are some of the strongest things about it, and the premise itself also is quite engaging. This is a story about set in modern times about a few characters who are lured from China, lured overseas to an unnamed Southeast Asian country to basically forced to participate in a fraud factory, broad systematic scam operation to take advantage of other people back in China and steal their money effectively, primarily through the use of fixed online casino games, but also involving other things like cryptocurrency and betting and whatnot, and the stock market and things of that nature. Um, and we kind of have two central characters that are uh, deceived into being in the scheme, lured to this what they think is a lucrative new job opportunity, but is in fact almost slave-like imprisonment to participate in this scheme. You have Peng Seng, played by Lei Zhang. He is like a young, talented computer programmer, and the other character is Liang Anna, played by Gina Jin, who is this model, and they both quickly get wrapped up in this unfortunate circumstance for themselves. And the movie has a bit of a nonlinear structure where we see these characters' backstories and how they got to where they are in terms of being in the scheme. And I think that is broadly effective. And again, the thriller aspects of them being in the scheme, seeing the scheme in operation, the scam in operation, and seeing these characters try and find a way to escape without being caught, because that could mean severe pain, dismemberment, or even death, right? And that's all good. I think what's my least favorite aspect about No More Bets would be the third kind of central character we spend time with, and that would be uh, Zhang, played by Darren Wong, who is a gambling addict who gets taken advantage of by this scheme and spirals and spirals and spirals out, taking uh, all of his family members' money and just ruining his life, despite actually being a talented, recent college graduate and smart person. And unfortunately, like, we also spend time with this character's backstory. Spend a lot of time with his storyline in general, and watching him be a gambling addict and be self-destructive in that regard. Like, he's just not a fun personality to be with in terms of how he treats the people close to him that are trying to help him. Like, it's a tough watch, and it's a tough ending for that character as well. And unfortunately, like, there's other aspects to his character that just kind of keep like following through with the story of No More Bets. We encounter Song Yu, played by Zhou Yī, who's his girlfriend, and she becomes a big advocate for taking down, online scam operations and things of that nature. That's kind of our introduction into Zhao Donggran, who is the cop character who's gonna like bust this whole operation, even though it's overseas and outside of Chinese police jurisdiction. And it's just kind of frustrating because like that all that stuff it's quite melodramatic with the family elements. All that stuff just distracts from the core thriller element with our other lead characters. That is the most interesting thing about it. And I think you actually just kind of the film got made a little bit too complicated. It's kind of added a few too many characters in it. And I think if we spent more time with the core scam, it would have been, I think, a bit more effective, just because the thriller nature of this movie like kind of grinds to a quick halt. And there's a very overt scene where you have the police officers all in meeting, and it's like, again, a grand message about how the party will stomp out corruption and take these scam companies down. And it's one of those kind of obligatory things we get in these Chinese movies where there has to be some kind of like moralistic messaging that makes the party look good and makes the country look good and things of that nature. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that message. Taking down online scams, good cause, but it's just so heavy-handed in the movie and also quite unnecessary. Like, we don't need the movie to beat us over the head with the fact that we don't like the people behind the scam. We already got that, especially when this movie spends so much time showing you a gambling addict spiral and how it affects all the people close to him. We didn't also need like the government will make sure this doesn't happen to you part. Like, it's this is probably one of the most like more annoying aspects of this. Sometimes you get like those brief scenes in a Chinese blockbuster, and it's like you could roll your eyes at it, but it doesn't really get in the way. That one, again, doesn't get in the way, but I was like, man, this is just so unnecessary as a messaging device. And then the movie kind of concludes with, again, like messaging about like the perils of gambling, as if this movie needs to like hold the audience's hand after everything we had just seen. Like, I don't think it treats the audience with enough respect and like really hammers it home that that's what this movie is about. It's a bit frustrating. But yeah, I think the thriller aspects of it are fun, and in general, it's quite well made and enjoyable. And yeah, I think you understand why this was a big blockbuster, because it is a pretty riveting movie when you spend times in the riveting parts of it. And I think this movie could have really shined if it kind of focused in on that. I saw one publication refer to it as like a Chinese Wolf of Wall Street. It's not really like that, because it's not at any point like talking about or presenting the fun aspects of being a crook, in this case being an online scammer taking advantage of people. Like, it doesn't have that point of view at all, because the whole time you're with people that are participating in the scam against their will to survive. So like, it's not really applicable to Wolf of Wall Street at all, in my opinion. But yeah, No More Bets, pretty engaging. Again, this will have a very limited release in the States and then eventually be available on streaming and VOD. So hard to see for most people, but I think if you're interested in seeing other types of filmmaking and what you're getting and what's also being widely consumed across the world, it is fun to check in on these, the top tier of the Chinese blockbusters. I always find them, I think, pretty well made, and the big ones are also pretty engaging. So check my reviews out on some of the other Chinese blockbuster films that have come out this year. I'd say probably my favorite of them thus far would be Full River Red, followed by Born to Fly, and then probably No More Bets, number 3. But let me know how'd you feel about No More Bets, and for more movie reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.